Hi everyone, welcome to our second video on getting started with English paper piecing. There's a lot of different kinds of shapes you can do with English paper piecing, but for this I'm just showing you guys how to do it with these 2.5-inch diamonds. And we're going to be making stars. So in the first video I showed you how to cut your diamonds down to size in an easy way. And now I want to show you the next step, which is going to be to glue it down onto the paper shape. So I'm just showing you so you can see easier with the right side of the fabric that when I put this diamond down, I've got about 1/2 inch edge around the entire perimeter of my diamond. So now what we're going to do is flip this over so that it is right side down and the wrong side of the fabric is touching your paper piece. Then you can just use any kind of glue stick. If it says that it's washable, I think that's a good idea, just to get one that's washable, but sometimes you'll see people try to market like special English paper piecing pens, glue pens and stuff, and that's fine, you can totally do that, but I just use any kind of normal glue stick and it works just fine. So I'm going to make just a small line of glue right along the bottom edge, and you can see it's only about 1/4 inch of glue. Then I'm just going to fold it over and push it down. And then while I'm holding that down, I'm going to do it to the next side. Fold it over and push it down. And then I'm going to do it again. And I go ahead and start my glue on the fabric. So I'm going to start it right here, not right where the paper is, but just at the very edge of my diamond. So I started here and I went all the way to the other side. You don't want to go like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth too much. Otherwise, it will make your paper pieces hard to get out in the end. We just want to barely put on enough glue to just hold it on. So I put a little bit of glue right here, a little glue right there, and then some on the paper. I'm going to fold over this last edge and push it down. And then what I like to do, just to kind of let it set, is to get a book that I don't care too much about. This is my copy of Lord of the Rings. Anyway, just a big book, because it will kind of damage the binding when you do this, but you could use like an old dictionary, and you just shove it in and then shut it. And I just do about 10 of them and I stick them in like that and then just kind of let them set. Just so that you could also press it with an iron, but I find that pressing it with an iron was just getting kind of annoying for me, and this worked just as well. So I'm going to show you one more time a little bit faster. Just going to glue each side, holding it down, and then I'm just going to stick it in the book to let the glue kind of dry and set. Here's my last side. Okay, so that one's in, and now I'm going to find the first one that I put in, which is set, and you can see that it's just made this nice little diamond shape. And you'll do that with all the different kinds of fabrics that you want. I always just make a bunch at a time, and then I'll show you what to do next in our next video. Alright, so the last thing I do is make a little sewing kit for myself. So I have scissors and polyester thread, and then I put a needle in a little box here. And then I've got all my diamonds in little groups of 6 so that I can just bring this with me and have some hand sewing. I really like it, especially when I'm traveling or on an airplane. And then you're going to sew your diamonds into stars. So you can see you're going to sew a group of 3 and then a group of 3. So I've put these right sides together and sewn along here, and I opened that up. Put these right sides together and hand stitched along here. You can see I've already done that with this seam, and now I'm just going to show you quickly how to do that right here. So I like to put them right sides together, and then I use these little clips to hold it in place. And when I'm sewing my seam, I haven't seen other people do this, but I like to just kind of lift the fabric off of the paper right where I'm going to be sewing. I don't know why. I feel like it helps me to not get my stitches showing through as much on the front. So that's how I like to do it. Now we're going to enter, here's where we're going to be starting this seam. So I'm going to enter from behind my fabric so that I come up just right where those two things intersect. Okay, I'm sorry, let me flip this around. And then I'm just going to tie a knot. So I'm going to go through. You don't want to get really, you kind of want to stay shallow, if that makes sense. I only want to grab a couple of threads from each of the sides. I don't want to, like, the shallower I go in, the less my stitches are going to show. If I come in down here or down here, obviously I'd be going through the paper, but it's the same principle where the further down you are when you put your needle through, the more your stitches will show. So I'm going to pull this and just tie a knot, come back through. Okay, come on, thread. Let me try that one more time. All right, so I'm going to come through. My thread's getting all tangled. And then come through again, and it'll create a knot right there. Now we're just going to do a whip stitch all the way down here. So that means it's just, I just take my needle in right there, and I'm just going to pull it through. There's one stitch. Now I'm going to do it again, bring it down, another stitch. All right, so you're going to do that all the way down to the bottom and then tie another knot. Then once you have your two groups of 3, you will put them like this, right sides together, and then you'll sew all the way down the length of this, and then you'll have your star. After that, when I have the points of my star, there's lots of different things you can do. A lot of people will do another diamond right here to connect them all together, but I decided I just wanted to make the stars, so I went ahead and I folded these little tabs down and just hand stitched them down, and then I appliqued them onto some white fabric that I'll show you. So after if you're doing it like me, you'll hand stitch all these tags down, and then you need to remove the paper. So to remove the paper, you literally just rip it out. Just take it out, and this is where if you've glued a little too much, it can get a little bit tricky. But I take it out, and then I'll press my star, and you can hand stitch it down to some white fabric. I ended up choosing to machine stitch it down. All right, where's one I can show you? So you can see this has already been quilted, but you can see right here that I did a machine stitch all the way around this star. I just did it onto an 11 by 11 inch square, and then I sewed the squares together, and I've had this quilted. Whoops. So yeah, this was a super fun project for me. I love how it turned out. I love how sharp it is, and I hope you enjoy the world of English paper piecing.